With the newest update, legendary modules have entered the game. Those are the gold ones. And if you haven't noticed, the purple ones, or the epic ones, are now available for anyone and everyone. Simply hover over a fourth module you're interested in upgrading and hold X. It will set you back around 500 steel, and as far as I can tell so far, it's unlimited. You can upgrade as many of them as you have the steel for. Now enter legendary modules. For an additional 2,000 steel, you can upgrade to a gold module. Now, as we know, the purple ones, you get bonuses based on damage in 30,000 increments, and the gold ones, you get bonuses based on kills. 1 kill is going to garner you a 5% damage buff, 2 kills, 10%, and so on and so forth. Now, the implications of both of them together are that you have some pretty wild and very powerful ships running around that you may have to face. Now, today's video has no other purpose than to start an open discussion with the community. Do we think that legendary and epic bonuses take it a little bit too far? Is it making it too unfair for new players entering the game? And while I'm here, I wanted to say this. I'm quite certain the Wargaming community team has said that these modules are in testing, so they're subject to change, and that is something that I would just take into account before you buy 10 of these modules that could possibly be changed in the future. Now, I'm not saying they will or they won't. I have no idea. I think as of now, everyone thinks they're pretty balanced, but again, it's very early on. So to illustrate my point for this, the background game is going to showcase an overpowered ship with a 16-4 commander and a legendary reload module. And we're going to be playing against a few tier 6 players, and this very well could be one of their first tier 6 ships they've earned. From a new player's perspective, a lot of us have forgotten what it's like, but getting into World of Warships is pretty daunting. There are over 400 ships now, probably over 70 commanders, there's a dozen different currencies. There's a lot going on in this game, and it takes an immense amount of either time or money to work your way up to higher tiers in this game. And just because you get to a higher tier, it doesn't mean you're going to be competitive or have a snowball's chance in hell in doing good or surviving or any of that stuff. If you haven't boosted your commanders, you're already going to be at a disadvantage against veteran players who will have high-level commanders with powerful skills and powerful traits. Take Azerlane, New Jersey on Iowa, for instance. At 16-4, a citadel from her, over 10 kilometers away, will deal nearly 3,000 more damage per shell than a player who just had old Billy Sims, for instance. Yes, that is a premium pay-to-win commander, but it's just showcasing that with commanders alone, the discrepancy between a new player to Legends and a veteran player is definitely growing. Now throw in the epic modernizations, which could buff shell grouping by as much as 10% or reload by as much as 10%. And these are pretty huge values in World of Warship Legends. Just look at Mimbelli and D. Revel, for instance. Their 6% buffs to reload were just nerfed. So we're talking about a 10% buff to reload. Now granted, you do have to earn 150,000 damage to activate that, and it's not super easy to do, but it does happen. Now for new players to get this module, 500 steel. It's not unattainable, but still, it's going to take some time and some effort and some grind to get one of those. Now enter legendary modules. Now, it's going to cost 2,000 steel, and this is nothing to scoff at. This is going to be seasons of ranked or brawl or other things just to earn one of these modules. So the likelihood of a new player getting their hands on one is not high. It's going to take time. If they're really committed to the game, they could buy out campaigns, which is stupid expensive, or just grind for months. Point being, this is hard for a new player to get their hands on. Add it all up, and a veteran player, aside from being more knowledgeable and better at the game, will have some serious advantages over a new player that perhaps just ground their way straight up to tier 6 to get their new Helena, for instance. Now, just how powerful are these modules? For kicks and giggles, let's see Azerlane Shapayev's DPM stock. Well, it's the best at the tier. Okay, the ship's broken, we know that. And now, let's just say we add a Kraken and 150,000 damage during a game. By the end of that match, the DPM would exceed Usta, easily putting it in Legendary Cruiser realm, actually pretty far up in the Legendary Cruiser realm. Now you say, that doesn't happen very often, but with ships like this, Mines, Plymouth, Suzuya, these type of games happen more often than you might think. Now, on the flip side of it, epic and legendary modules are a really cool addition for the game, especially for long-term players like myself. The opportunities are seemingly endless. What's a Schlieffen like with a legendary mod and a 16 for Celiax, Von Hipper, Haruna. It could be pretty cool. It's things like that that make players like me want to keep playing, testing, grinding. So I get the alternative side of it. The prospect is exciting for the late game content. So I'm really not complaining about that. I think it helps the game be less stale for long-term players. However, I'm just beginning to wonder how fair the game really is, especially for a newbie starting to play the game in 2023. And consider this, even if a PC Pro started a Legends account, myself, a pretty average console player, would have a massive advantage over them for months or years to come. So does the cost to enter into the Legends realm hinder new players from even wanting to try? Does it look like an insurmountable mountain from the bottom? I don't know. Just food for thought. I'm curious what the community thinks, so I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Keep it civil, boys. And also, be careful blowing all your steel because, again, I think these things are subject to change. They might not. Maybe everyone feels like this is pretty balanced, but, I mean, these are some pretty powerful perks. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.